Welcome back. So within the last 2 months, I've probably bought two key vehicles. This one was wrapped. I don't know if you can see it in the paint, but it looks really bad. So we are going to be painting this one in this video. I'm going to start pulling off trim, get these bumpers off because they're a different color. And first off, we're just going to do the red, and then next we'll tape down and do the white. This bumper looks really bad. Paint's flaking off. There's a big dent right here. But yeah, we will do a video on the other key vehicle. It's in the backyard right now. It needs a bunch of parts, but I bought this one for $1,000 and I bought the other one for $1,000. But like I said, we're gonna start pulling trim off, pulling door panels off, or door handles off, mirrors, all this front trim, and we'll start getting this prepped for paint. This is the other one I bought for $1,000. This is also a Subaru sandbar. This one's missing a lot more, but it did come with a clean title, and it did come with a 5-speed 4-wheel drive. This one does not have AC. I guess it was just optioned like that. I've got an alternator here and a starter here because they're both off the motor. I've got to find a carburetor for this one because this one's carb, not EFI like the other one. And just some odds and ends. Battery, headlights, bumper. It needs a distributor cap and a rotor, and it needs spark plug wires. And then this back panel is really dented. I do have the tail light lenses. They're somewhere in the cab because I threw them in here. But this one's pretty low for kilometers. This one's got 98,000. I think the red one has 160,000, which, I mean, that's both low on miles, but as we're getting up in kilometers, these key vehicles, you know, maybe aren't the most reliable. I would pull the engine cover off, but I don't feel like moving these tires. It's the same as the red one, 4-cylinder. Subaru calls it the Clover engine. But yeah, this Sandbar Classic was a pain to get going. Like I said, $1,000 for it, clean title, everything. It was wrapped white, which I really didn't like. But the problem with this one is that, yeah, 162,000 kilometers. The problem with this one is that it's an ECVT, which really wouldn't have been a problem if, when we got there to pick the vehicle up, the guy shoved it in gear and broke the shift fork. Obviously, this part's discontinued. Well, I think the shift fork is not discontinued, but these gears, the forward and reverse gears, are seized together, which one of those was discontinued, so we couldn't rebuild this transmission. So we ordered a new transmission for it, which was almost $3,000, right? So we're up $4,000 for this little Subaru, and obviously the powder clutches were bad, so I had to buy an $800 powder clutch. And now I daily drive this thing. Great vehicle. I just hate the paint. So yeah, let me get some tools and we'll start getting this trim off. Got all the trim off the back. I couldn't get the squirter out. I don't know how to get it out, so we're just gonna tape around it. This window motor or wiper motor will be fine because we can tape all the way to the edge, and you can clearly see what's gonna get covered up. All these holes I back taped so no paint goes inside the vehicle. We'll probably get some tape over this, and I'll pull that rear bumper off, and then the back will be done. So all we gotta do is sand that, and then I'll start pulling all this stuff off. I'll probably pull these panels out so I can get the edges, and I don't have to tape this seal up. These are really easy to take out. And then yeah, both the rear door handles are broke. They'll be here tomorrow actually, so I don't feel bad about breaking these. The front ones are fine. I'm not sure if we're gonna take them off or tape them yet. We'll see what happens. Painting this also means I can fix where the previous owner took the rain guards off. Hopefully I can find some new ones because they look pretty good on these. And I need to wash it before we start sanding, but we'll see. I can put the sun guard back on after we paint it too. It'll look good. And the way that it's been painted, we don't have to do much line work for the two-tone. Actually, the bumpers, we can just take those off, and then we've got that, and then this back seam, the front doors, we don't have to tape off. So perfect. Not sure how to take these sliders off, so we'll see what happens with those. But yeah, I'm gonna start pulling more trim off and we'll see from there. Making progress. I got the rear bumper off. All the body sills are off the windows. The front end is pretty much done. I gotta get those wipers off and that bumper off. These we can just tape over because the chrome trim will cover all this stuff. But these, I'm not sure how to get these off. I can't find a connector. But yeah, this mirror's off, all these body sills are off. So it's really just mud flaps, the slider, and all the door handles. And then obviously I gotta tape everything. But yeah, not much to this little key van. And then we've got to fix some dents. There's a big dent right here. There's a dent there. And then I'm sure you can see the dent on the front door right there. I think the other side's pretty fine though. The back's fine. Actually, I just saw a dent right here. But I think this whole passenger side is pretty fine. There might be a dent right here. I think there is. I see a few door dings. But that's about it. I think this is just a body line or some body bend because it's the same on both sides. But yeah, that back door is a little wavy from that dent, but we'll see what we can do. I've never done body work before, so this is the first for me. I try to pick something big and flat. So I let my brain get the best of me and I started sanding. I pretty much got this body line taped off. I think it looks pretty decent. Got this sprayer taped up and I went all the way to the edge. And we can kind of fix this body line in some spots where they messed it up from factory, because it's a little wavy from factory. Started sanding. Got this bad spot out here where the paint was peeled up from the wrap. Still gotta fix some spots like that where it's down to metal, but we're getting it smooth. Gotta fix this spot here where the badge was. It feels pretty bad. There's some spots where, like right here, this is still the adhesive from the wrap here and all this. So I'm having to hit that stuff with it like 80 grit to get it gone. There's another spot here, big scratch here down to metal. So I think it's gonna take longer than I wanted it to, but we'll fix it eventually. Moving right along. I wish I had some shade. That would make this a whole lot nicer. Let's see what we're doing. Haven't taped off everything yet, but currently we are hitting everything with 80 grit just to get rid of the texture in the paint. especially like this stuff up here. Hitting everything with 80 grit. I'll order some body filler and we'll fill in some spots that we need to hit. Like that scratch is probably gonna need it. And all the dents. And then we'll block it. And I think we have to move up to 180 and then 240 maybe. We'll see. And then I can hit it with some primer. I've got some, this stuff is really old. I can't remember what I was gonna paint, but I've got, this is a short strand fiberglass body filler. I still need normal body filler. I've got 2 cans of this epoxy primer. So we'll definitely use that, especially on those areas that are down to bare metal, especially that corner there. We'll epoxy primer it. Then we'll go from there. I can't remember if I need normal primer or not. But yeah, I'm gonna keep sanding, keep taping, masking, and we'll get this going. I'm trying to have this completely done in 7 days, 1 week from now, the 6th. Because the 6th, I've got 4 days off for the 4th of July. So I'm hoping we can just get everything done by that Sunday, and I go back to work on the 7th, which is that Monday. Which, I mean, we're looking pretty good. I just got to make sure I have all the right materials. Alright, this is where we're at today. Pretty much got everything sanded down with 80 grit. I got the dents down to bare metal. Still haven't done the front yet because I think the whole front end is plastic. And I gotta figure out how to do that. And I still gotta get this front bumper off. But the whole thing is sanded with 80 grit. Except around like the tape areas. Because I don't want to knock my tape lines off. Let's see here. My next step. I'm trying to figure that out. Whether I'm supposed to epoxy over this 80 grit or if I'm supposed to work up to 220, because from my understanding 80 is great for epoxy primer. I can epoxy this, body fill it, and then re-epoxy. That's what I'm thinking. But are all those 80 grit scratches going to be seen through the epoxy primer? That's what I'm not understanding. So let me do a bunch of research and figure this out, because I want it to look good. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I want it to look good. I obviously do not want to see a bunch of sanding scratches in this, or I'm not going to be very happy. But yeah, we're getting it done. Most of the texture is out. I still got a hand sand around like the windows, stuff like that, but I'll do that tomorrow. I think I mentioned I've been out here 4 hours today. Still got to do around these windshield wipers, but we'll get it figured out. See you guys, I guess, tomorrow. Tuesday now. I'm going to finish sanding, get this bumper off, and try to get these door handles off. I want to get everything else sanded today, and I want to finish taping today. So tomorrow, Wednesday, we can do our epoxy primer, and then Thursday is when my 2K primer will show up. That will give me enough time to let the epoxy cure, and enough time to where I don't have to sand the epoxy primer. I just have to sand my body filler. But I realized that I probably didn't need to go down to bare metal for these dents if I'm gonna be doing epoxy primer over the whole thing, because the body filler will be on top of the epoxy primer, not on the bare metal. So that was a little bit of a waste of time, but it'll be fine. I'm gonna get the RV out of here. it'll be fine for now. My brother's motorcycle, I gotta get that out of here, and then we'll start working on getting that bumper off so I can finish sanding. Got the RV out and the van in. It's about to storm. I can feel it start drizzling. Got these panels set up here, and I got this front bumper off finally. There's actually 2 bolts on both sides that hold it. I thought it was just 1 on both sides. So yeah, we got that off, which means I can finish sanding the bottom half of the front. Again, I think this is plastic or fiberglass, so we'll figure that out. We'll finish that, we'll hand sand all of our edges, and then we'll start doing tape. And we'll sand these. Actually, I might save one of these just because it's like a nicer red rather than this dull fuel door, because I need to go get some paint made, and that's a lot nicer red than that fuel door. But this one is all dull. This is why I'm painting it. That's a good view. All of that, I tried everything. Acetone won't take this off. Alcohol wouldn't take it off. Wet sanding it didn't really take it off. And then, especially where this old sticker was that said Subaru sandbar, it just looks like crap. That's why we're painting it. I'm gonna get everything sanded out like I said, and I'll catch up with you guys after that. Okay, I got pretty much everything sanded down that I needed to get sanded down. Got all these areas in here hand sanded. Got this area up here above the drip rail hand sanded. Everything around the windows I wanted, I got. The front end I got sanded down. Everywhere I think we should do it. Got this rear panel sanded down, and like I said, I'm gonna keep this one for paint tomorrow when we go get paint. I think my 2K primer will be here tomorrow now instead of Thursday, which that's good. It'll help move things forward. I'm just worried that it's not going to show up. So if the 2K shows up tomorrow, we'll epoxy this tomorrow, and then after that we will do our body filler within, well, I think it's after 2 hours we're allowed to do body filler. I'm gonna go ahead and finish taping everything up so we don't have to move this thing again, and I'll see you guys after that. I need to get it further in the garage so I can spray the back and the front. I think I can move pretty much everything up here, including the motorcycle, and we'll have room to spray the front and the rear. So yeah, let me get everything taped up. More tape, more plastic is down. We're about to go to bed. Got that door handle taped up, even though it doesn't matter because we're replacing it. I'm having to go through on these front doors and tape up the weather stripping because you can see it when the door is completely closed, and I don't want to overspray the weather stripping. But yeah, got this front door taped up. That door's almost taped up. Yeah, that's been taped up. Back window's done. So yeah, I did this tail light, but I'm not sure about overspraying to here because there's some weather stripping in there. That might get like acetone off, I'm not sure yet. But I guess we'll finish taping tomorrow. I didn't realize it would take so long. And then I've got to figure out how to close off the bottom half of the car so I don't overspray the underside of the car. Unless I overspray it and then go over it with black spray paint. We'll see. We shall see. And then we have to do the whole front. Not even sure how to do that yet. It's Wednesday now. I spent all morning running around looking for paint. I went to a paint shop that's local and they quoted me $700 for 2 quarts of paint. So I came home, did some research, watched at Vice Grip Garage, painted Silverado, and yeah, went to Treasure Supply and got some International Harvester red paint. I'll show you guys later when I'm done taping, but yeah, gonna finish taping today. Hopefully get our epoxy on today, and then we'll do a body filler, block sander body filler, and throw on our 2K primer. Hopefully tonight. We'll see. Whew. And then that tractor paint will be pretty easy to spray. I won't have to worry about it not sticking, I don't think. But yeah, it's coming along. This whole side's done. We did that last night. Besides that door handle, that front door handle, just in case I need to get inside the vehicle once again. I'm gonna finish up this side and then start doing the front. The front is kind of weird because I need to block off all these areas that are gonna get oversprayed, I think. Unless I just don't care. We'll see. And then these little side markers are held in. There's no connector to undo them. So let's see. I got this whole weather strip done all the way up to the roof and all the way down. We'll get the roof just covered in plastic. We won't even need to do this because I had Meredith in here helping me last night. Yeah, we'll do this bottom seam. Hopefully it'll stick. Cover up all those windshield wiper things and then cover the front end. And then we have to cover the bottom so we don't overspray the underside of the vehicle. But I don't think that would be too hard as long as our tape sticks. Alright, this is where we're at now. I got the front taped off. I still gotta do these lights. That'll be fine. Got the roof taped off. All the windows are taped off. We got the bottom of the garage door taped off just enough so I can get an exhaust fan out. This is gonna be our fan in. It's got an air filter behind it, and we're gonna cover this up while we spray. The only problem I'm having is taping off the undercarriage. I'm not sure how to do that. So yeah, it is Wednesday. We're probably going to spray epoxy tomorrow morning around 9 a.m. The humidity is supposed to start dropping into like a reasonable humidity, and it's supposed to stay low all throughout the night. So yeah, we'll spray epoxy about 9 a.m. tomorrow. Around noon we'll start doing our body work with our filler, and then I've got until at least midnight to spray the 2K primer. So tomorrow's gonna be a big day. I've got to finish taping today, and tomorrow we're just gonna get to it. 9:25. Finally got everything taped off. Everything that I want taped off is taped off. The whole undercarriage is taped off. The front end's taped off. Everything is taped off. Tomorrow morning, like I said, 9 a.m. we'll come out here, tack this, wax, grease and wax remove it, and we'll start shooting our epoxy. I think these mix 1-to-1, so that'll be pretty easy. Hopefully it shoots through the gun without reducer, because I don't have reducer. But yeah, this is gonna be gray tomorrow. Starting a little late today, I had to run to Walmart and grab some lint-free cloth. I'm starting to wipe this down in preparation for our epoxy. I'm trying to find a spray bottle, but I can't find my spray bottle. That would make this a whole lot easier. But yeah, once we get this wiped down, we can hit it with our tack cloth and start spraying our epoxy. I've got to get the gun set up. I don't know how to do that yet. But yeah, we'll figure that out. We'll find something to spray a test panel on. Maybe a piece of cardboard or something. And we'll get this thing covered. I just can't find my spray bottle. Got everything wiped down with wax and grease remover. I still got to tape up this door handle. Completely forgot about that. Got both of these wiped down with wax and grease remover. The whole vehicle's wiped down. I am going to tape up that door handle and set up our gun, and then we'll hit it with our tack cloth and start shooting. Got that door handle taped off. I'm about to mix up our epoxy. From what I've read, I've got 4 to 6 hours for that to sit in there, so that gives me plenty of time to get the gun dialed in. We'll get that mixed up, get our gun dialed in, and start shooting our epoxy. Alright, now that that is all mixed up, we'll get our gun sorted out. Throw this over this so nothing gets in it. And I should probably watch a YouTube video on how to set this gun up, because I don't know how. I know it's supposed to be at like 30 psi, but I don't know how to set up my fan or anything like that. So let me figure out how to set this gun up, and I will be right back. Alright, we got some epoxy in here. I'm going to shoot this onto this cardboard and figure out our fan. And then I guess we'll start shooting epoxy on the car. We got our first coat on. I can kind of see some streaks in here. I've never done this before, so it's liable to be streaky. And over here it looks like we're having a reaction of some type right there too. I don't know. This first panel didn't go too well. I kept having splotches from the top of the paint coat come out, but this one came along just fine. There's a splotch right there. But you'll have that if it's your first paint job, I assume. This side turned out pretty good. I can see a streak there. We're gonna wait about 15 minutes to shoot our next coat. And I hope that is not a problem. But yeah, it's gray now. I did not expect that. This side looks good, other than a bunch of orange peel. That's no problem. That dent is very pronounced now. This side looks pretty good with coverage. There's a big run right here. But yeah, the back looks good as far as I can tell. I missed this area here, but yeah, looks like there's more of a reaction right here. I don't know what that's from, unless it's from my wax and grease remover. But yeah, we'll see how this looks in about 15 minutes, and we'll start
we'll start our second coat. Alright, that is 2 coats. We're gonna let this dry for about 3 hours or so, and then we'll start doing our body filler. I'm gonna go eat with Meredith, come back, see how it looks, and like I said, we'll do our body filler. We probably won't worry about those 2 dents. I'm mostly just worried about this dent and that dent in the back door, if you can see it. And then we'll see what we can do about this. I don't want to make this whole thing body filler, but if I have to, it's gonna look better than it does now. I can see pinholes in the old body filler. It is what it is. It don't have to be perfect, it just has to be red. But yeah, I'm gonna get out of here and go eat. Let's see what time it is. It's about 11:30, so we should be back out here about 2:30. As you can see, it's been about 2.5 hours. The epoxy looks pretty good, except for those few spots on the B-pillars. But I think we can just sand that out with the 2K. I'm about to mix up some body filler wherever it's at. I'm using this Evercoat body filler. We're gonna use this on the couple dents that I think I should do, and probably this scratch back here, because I mean this back door has couple door dings in it, but I don't really care enough. We'll definitely do this dent on the hood here, and then we'll do the dent on this door, the back door, and we'll look into that back corner. There's another dent below the back window back there. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, we'll just do whatever we think we should do. And then I've also got some spot putty. We're gonna fill in these pinholes back here, smooth it out. I think there's a dent. There's a dent on the back panel back here. We'll put some body filler in that, see how much we got. I didn't get a lot because I didn't expect to do a bunch of body filling. But yeah, the whole shop has a light mist of epoxy primer everywhere. If you lift up something, you can see where the epoxy settled. So everything is now oversprayed, so that's good. Let me mix up some body filler and we're gonna start body filling. Got our board here wiped down with wax and grease remover. We're gonna start mixing some putty together with some body filler and start putting it on the car. And it says we wait 10 to 15 minutes before we can sand this.
It is very gray.
Hopefully it almost... Do what?
Did you get your red made?
I bought some tractor paint.
No.
This is definitely gonna pinhole. I can already see it. Hard, fast. That stuff got hard fast. Guess I should mix up less so it goes further. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. It's good enough for me. I don't really care about the other dents. And now we get to block sand. We'll start with 80 grit and work our way up to 180 grit. That should be good enough for our 2K primer. Where's the, there it is. Alright, this sanding block has 80 grit on it. And that's already nice and hard. So I'm just gonna block sand this. I'll block sand all these spots we put body filler, and I'll be right back. Okay, I mean, I tried my best. It looks like crap still. There's definitely a dent still here. I can feel it. And I broke through the epoxy in some of the places. So I think what I'm gonna do is just clean it, shoot some epoxy over these areas. I need to keep sanding that because I can feel that. I'll clean it, shoot some epoxy over these areas, and then wait another 2-3 hours, and then we'll shoot our 2K, and we'll just have dents still, which, I mean, it's not really that big of a deal. I just don't want it to look terrible. I tried to do it, but I'm not a body guy. I've never done this before, and you'll have that. Our gun's still good. I just did a little spray panel over here. it's still spraying, so it's not clogged up, which means I don't have to buy another gun. But yeah, I'm gonna block sand this out, clean up these areas, and shoot some epoxy over just these areas again. All right, hit that with the wax and grease remover. We'll just hit those spots with our epoxy now. Hopefully it'll be fine. Let's start back here. Does not look good. Just hit these spots with a second coat of epoxy. You can definitely see the sanding marks I left, so that doesn't look too good. Not even going to worry about these pinholes, I don't really care. Hopefully the high build will fix most of these. The only bad dent was this one, but it is what it is. I can still see sanding marks on that, but all the bare metal is covered up again. So we're gonna give this, like I said, 2 hours to cure again, and then we'll come out here and shoot our high build 2K primer. This has a drip there from I guess when I leaned the gun over, it dripped out the top, and this one has a drip here. But it is what it is. It is what it is. 2K primer, like I said, we'll have to wait 24 hours before I do anything to it. Hopefully it won't be too bad to block sand. I need to get some sanding rolls so I can use my big block sander and not this tiny one. This tiny one, I don't know. I don't know if it's the sandpaper, which is pretty clogged up, but I don't know. It's junk, but we'll see. I'll see you guys in 2 hours. A little bit later now. I don't know why, but this stuff took a little bit longer to dry this time. I'm gonna start mixing up our 2K primer, our high build primer. I'm gonna do 3 quarts this time, just so I can do about 3 whole coats. Because with the epoxy primer, I made 2 quarts and got 2 coats. So we're just gonna make 3 quarts of this, and let me get this mixed up and we'll start spraying. I'm about to mix our hardener in to our 4-to-1. I'm gonna do 1 quart at a time because this has a pot time of I think 30 minutes or so. So we're not gonna be able to do all 3 coats within the amount of time we have to wait between our coats. Basically, we have to wait for our flash time, and it's just gonna be too long to shoot all 3 coats if we mix them all 3 together. So I'm gonna mix this first quart together, figure out our spray pattern, do our first coat, and then we'll wait for our flash time. That stuff was a lot harder to use because I couldn't see it. Pretty streaky. I'm gonna increase my volume so I can see better, and that'll help get rid of all these 80 grit scratches. We're just gonna wait for this to flash off and then shoot our next coat. I barely used any product. I didn't even use a whole quart. I didn't even use half of a quart, to be honest with you. But we'll see what happens next time. It's about ready for the next coat. It's really hot in here, and that took a while. So we'll shoot our next coat really soon. That coat felt better, but it's still extremely streaky. I can barely see what I'm doing because of the epoxy. So I'm trying to get the gun dialed in. We may do another coat just because I have so much paint. But that'll help get rid of some of this and those sanding scratches. Like there. And there. And there's a big one there. Basically, the more high build primer we do, the more we can sand off. This side's pretty streaky too. I don't know what the difference is, other than me trying to set this gun up the correct way. But yeah, we'll see. I'll do a couple more coats off camera and see how it turns out, and then like I said, we'll just let this sit for at least 24 hours before we do any type of block sanding or anything. I just want enough high build on here that we have something to block sand and it doesn't go through on the corners like I've been doing. So we'll see. Alright, that is 4 coats of 2K primer. It's still a little streaky, a lot of streaky, but we'll see how it looks after it dries. I won't be back out here till probably Saturday. It's Thursday now. So Saturday I'll come out here and see how it looks. We'll start block sanding Saturday. And hopefully we can get some color on this Sunday morning or so. But it's coming along. I was expecting better from the 2K. I kept trying to get my gun set up good, and it's like, oh yeah, that looks good. It's a little thin here. This looks decent, but it's like there's just not enough volume. I don't think I mixed up the 2K enough. I don't know, but I'll see you guys on Saturday.
It is Sunday, so I've let this sit for way longer than it has to. We're gonna start sanding it today, and hopefully by the end of the day I'll be able to start spraying some red. I still need to go get some gloss black to throw on the red so it's not as bright, but we'll see where we're at by the end of the day. So I haven't started sanding yet, but I'm going through these YouTube videos trying to learn how to block sand, and I mean, at the end of the day, this is an $1,000 car, and I'm about to put tractor paint on it. I'm very tempted just to hit this with the DA just so I can throw some paint down. It don't have to be perfect, and I sure as hell don't want to block sand the whole thing. So let me do some more research. There's a very high chance that I just DA this and we shoot some paint today, but we'll see. We'll see what I can figure out. All right, so I've decided to stick to block sanding, but there is one problem. On these edges, I'm going through to bare metal, especially right here. So that leaves us with another thing that we have to do is, once we get done block sanding, we need to get some more epoxy primer, mix it 1-to-1 with our hardener, and then reduce it with our urethane reducer, and spray one sealer coat over this whole thing, and then we wait about an hour, and then we can do our wet on wet top coat, our top coat being our tractor paint.
the red's still inside, but I got some gloss black to darken it up. So we're gonna do a sealer coat of epoxy primer, and then our top coat on the top of that. But once we block sand this whole thing, we won't have to sand anymore. And being that we're block sanding it, should be pretty smooth. It should look pretty good too. There's some areas that we had during our priming sessions, like over here, where it was, I don't know if it was fisheyeing or reacting or stuff, but most of it's coming out with our block sanding, so it should be pretty smooth paint job, as long as I can lay down the paint pretty smooth. These big splotches where we drip paint, I'm sanding these out and they're pretty smooth now. Well, not paint, but epoxy. Yeah, that one's very smooth. And it's a little high, but it's a lot smoother than it was. These panels definitely went through bare metal there, and around these edges it's very hard to block sand. I know most of it doesn't matter because we'll have that seal on there, but it still needs to be sanded so our paint will stick. I dropped this and dented the corner, so now we have a high spot right here, which I sanded through to bare metal. But yeah, we'll get this block sanded out, and I don't know how long it's going to take, but we might not be able to spray paint tonight because we might have to block sand tomorrow after work. But yeah, she's coming along. I think it'll be pretty smooth paint job, and maybe with these block sanding we can get out some of these sanding scratches from where we tried to do our body filler, and we won't even worry about the dents. This one I can still feel it. It's going to be pretty predominant when we lay paint on. This one is still pretty bad. We might just have to hand sand some of this with our sandpaper, because it's going to be pretty hard to block sand a dent. But it's coming along. I'll keep block sanding, and I guess I'll update you guys either when I'm done block sanding or tomorrow, if we're still block sanding tomorrow. Alright, got everything sanded back down. It is 8 o'clock exactly. I didn't really use the block sander for much. I got tired of block sanding, so all of this is done with the DA. If you keep your DA flat and don't care, it'll be straight enough for our tractor paint. All this is sanded down. I gotta get the panels wiped down again with wax and grease remover, and then we can shoot our sealer coat, and then wait I think an hour, and then we can do our paint. So let me get these wiped down with wax and grease remover again, and probably tack cloth this time because I forgot last time, and we'll get some paint on this thing. Alright, I'm mixing up our sealer now. It says it's a 1:1 to half part. So we're just gonna do 12 ounces epoxy, another 12 ounces hardener, and then 6 ounces of our reducer. That should give us plenty. I'm gonna mix this up as much as I can, get this mixed up, and we'll start spraying our sealer. Alright, our sealer coat's down. We're going to give that about an hour, let it tack up. We don't want any fingerprints. And once it's dry, we can start laying down our base coat. Well, our single stage. And it'll be red real soon. We're going to do maybe 3 coats of red, I've got to mix up our paint so we get a pretty dark red, because right now our red paint's very bright. I've got a timer for 1 hour. I'm gonna mix up some paint, go eat dinner, and we'll come back out here after dinner and see what we can make happen. Still waiting on our sealer to dry. I poured some of this red paint into here, where our sealer was, and then I poured some black paint into here, and that's got it a good bit darker now. It's not as bright as that. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but that is pretty close to our old red. I'm gonna start mixing up some paint because I've got like a 2 to 6 hour window I can let it sit in the pot for. So I'm gonna mix up some paint, wait for this to finish drying, and then we'll get some paint sprayed on tonight, and I get to be at work at 5 a.m. So yeah. It's red now. Sorry about the time lapse. The camera died. It's currently plugged in to the charger. I'm gonna do probably one more coat. I don't know yet, but I will start recording again tomorrow after work. It's getting late and I have to be up in 4 hours to go to work. Alright guys, it's been about 3 hours since we finished our last stage of paint. I'm gonna start peeling our tape off and get to work this morning. This thing is looking really good. The orange peel on it looks pretty good too. It's nothing excessive, except for maybe up here on the top of the doors. I'm gonna finish taking this tape off after work, and we'll start putting our side panels in. Well, I should probably wait for them to dry. I'll just finish taking the tape off after work, and then we'll see where we're at after work. Just got all of our tape off, and I would say this looks phenomenal for my first paint job. It's not like too incredibly orange peeled. There are some areas where like there's dust, but that's fine. And then there's these weird areas where the paint kind of comes up, but I mean, it's nothing crazy. But I don't know, I just think it looks really good, especially since I did this in my garage in a week. I feel like I'm obligated to do the roof now, but I've got to find this weird ivory color, and doing the roof might be hard because how am I supposed to get up there? I'm gonna start throwing in our trim pieces just to cover up this old red and to make it look nice. The front end on it will look really good with this paint. But man, I am very pleased with that. Let me throw this trim on and we'll end the video out. Wow, this thing looks great. I'm gonna finish up the trim and the panels once the paint dries and once I have some help, because I don't want to put these in by myself and drop them. I'm probably gonna do the bumpers and the roof off camera. I have no idea when either, but it'll eventually be all painted. This door is really orange peely. If you can see some paint splotches, but it is what it is. At least it's not streaky. I'll throw in that rear trim too and the tail lights off camera. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to see more content like this, don't forget to subscribe. Leave a comment, any suggestions on what I could do better aside from actually block sanding the thing, because I didn't feel like it. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.